Hello, everyone. Welcome to your team news ahead of Gameweek 30. It's going to be a short one this week, Neale. 4 games.
It is indeed, yeah. Just so 8 teams to bring you, and a little bit of FA Cup news as well. Most of it's irrelevant, but there's a couple of big lines coming out of Liverpool. But we'll start with Gameweek 30 anyway.
Absolutely. So the first game is tonight. It's a 6:30 deadline, so don't forget to get your teams locked in. There's been a lot of rumours, isn't there? It's Wolves, Leeds first of all. Lots of rumours about Raphinha. What is the kind of latest that we know on this at the moment?
Well, we don't know a lot. The suggestions are, and this is, it'd be remiss of us not mention rumours when they're well placed, because this comes from a forum that has delivered before. It's Wacko, I believe. It's We Are the Champions of Europe. That's the Leeds forum.
Wacko sounds very credible to me, Neale.
Yeah, yeah. What's your sort of Wacko? So the rumours stem from there that he'd tested positive for COVID. Now, this is nothing's been reported elsewhere, not on the Leeds site, not on local media. So you take everything like this with a pinch of salt. I've then seen this being followed up on Twitter with the likes of, is it Andy Martin, who's a Leeds guy amongst the FPL community, and he was telling us to sort of hold our horses and it might be a false positive. So there's basically a lot of bluster going on, a lot of noise about this, nothing confirmed. What I'll only do is point to last week when we were putting 2 and 2 together, making 5 with Van Dijk.
Yeah.
When Klopp mentioned that was some COVID cases at Liverpool or illness cases, and then Van Dijk hadn't been seen in training on the Thursday, and lo and behold, he plays. So there's always rumours like this before a deadline. I think these ones are a bit more worthy of mention because of where they stem from. Like this fella who's, I think, started this had previous for revealing the Ilan Melier COVID case as well. So obviously there's a bit of weight behind it, but do not take that as gospel. You know, it's far from confirmed. That's why there's no flag in FPL, because it's not come from a legitimate source. Yeah.
I mean, if we see any pictures of him having travelled, then you'd think, well, he's almost certainly going to play, right?
That's the good thing, is that Leeds are playing tonight and they're away. So we often do see the Leeds team bus turning up well before kick-off, and hopefully that'll be coming before 6:30. That's an hour and a half before kick-off at Molineux. And we'll take it from there. But yeah, at the moment, I can't bring anything concrete on it. I'm certainly not in the know on this. So I can only tell you what I've read and heard. In terms of the definite team news we've got, a bit of a boost for Leeds in that Phillips is back and Cooper, possibly as substitutes this weekend. Jesse Marsh was saying that they didn't want to have a setback with those two, given how long they've been out. So maybe he's suggesting bench duty there. But they're back anyway. Gino Phillips was out for a while, along with Roberts and Hjelde as well. But other than that, it's not too bad. I think a trio of strikers are flagged, or certainly mentioned as doubts. 2 of them are flagged, Rodrigo and Gelhardt. Bamford is more, I think, he was knackered after his first start of the year. Marsh says that he was hoping that Rodrigo would train and be available for Friday. Bamford was a little sore after his first start, but should be okay. And Gelhardt was kept out of the under-23 match on, I think it was Tuesday, against Man United because of a back problem, but he would be probably bench duty at best anyway. So I think minor concerns over the forwards, and this obviously unfounded or unconfirmed rumour about Raphinha on the main headlines. As for Wolves, a lot more quiet on that front. They've got 3 players who are confirmed out, and that is Neto, Semedo, and whoever. Now, Wolves aren't without their rumours either, because of Hwang and Jimenez. So Hwang was flagged. He came off last weekend with, I think it was subsequently reported as a dead leg, and wasn't mentioned in press conference yesterday. I didn't see him in training ground images on, I think it was Wednesday, but there was a Korean journalist who's reported that Bruno Lage has told him he's fine, and given that quote where he said we've only just got Neto, Semedo, and whoever out, then I'm assuming he's all right. The Jimenez was another one. There was no suggestions of an injury with him. The only thing was that he wasn't pictured in training on Tuesday, Wednesday either. There was one set of Getty images. I can't remember which day it was. It was midweek anyway. And I think around about 50 pictures from the Wolves training ground, and Jimenez wasn't on any of them. But as we've seen before, I'll just point out Van Dijk again, the example last week. Any player can miss a day's training for a whole number of reasons. Commercial venture, or could be a partner's birth, or something like that. So there's no suggestions that he is injured, and he wasn't mentioned by name in Lager's press conference yesterday. So we've got no reason to doubt that. I just thought I'd mention it as a just for openness. So I think that's it. There's a lot to discuss there. But
Twang. Come on, Twang. I need you this week. What about Ait Nouri? Do you reckon he comes back into the team?
The Wolves fans forums I've been on, and Tom, I've been talking to Tom about this as well, suggest he will come back in for this because of his, not just because it's a home game against one of the relegation strugglers, but because of his sort of speed as well against a Leeds side who are pretty nifty and nimble on the counter-attack. So the thought process is that he comes back in for this. Certainly still a risk and by no means guaranteed. I think Johnny on the opposite flank is a bit more secure at the moment with two of his positional rivals being out. But the sort of consensus seems to be that Ait Nouri's got a better chance of starting this one.
Okay, good to know. Next game is tomorrow. There's only one match tomorrow, and that is Villa versus Newcastle. No, Villa versus Arsenal. Don't know why I said Newcastle. I was looking at you for some reason. That's Newcastle. It's Villa versus Arsenal. What did Steven Gerrard have to say?
Not a huge amount of other than one massive, significant team news update, and it's one of the most owned Villa players. And I've got him in my squad, and I've suffered for the past few weeks with him either not showing up or delivering some meagre returns. And I'm thinking, that's all right, I've got him for Gameweek 30. I've had the foresight to keep him for that. And he's out. It's Luca Digne. And he's out of Gameweek 30. It always looked likely from the moment he went down last weekend with a hamstring problem. And even then, I think Gerrard had said he was a major doubt. So he was 25% flagged at the time. That's now red flagged because he's not going to be involved. But should be back for Game Week 31 by the sounds of it, because Gerrard's talking about him having an outside chance of joining up with France over the international break. So it doesn't sound too serious. One. I know. It's literally the one game week where I wanted him. Yeah. To be honest, I nearly sold him last week, and instead I sold Dawson. And I would have had an extra Game Week 30 starter if I hadn't done that. But such is my luck at the moment. Yeah. But anyway, he's out. He's the only significant absentee for tomorrow. Courtney Houser's out as well. And Marvellous Nakamba's still absent, but he's going to be back in training over the international break.
Nice. And Arsenal, pretty clear bill of health, I think, right?
It's as you were, yeah. I mean, the one caveat is that Arsenal were playing, when was it, Wednesday night? And then yesterday was a recovery day, which means no proper training. And then Arteta faced the media this morning, so he hadn't actually seen his troops in training. But there was no immediate signs of anything on Wednesday. I was watching that game. I didn't spot anything. Tomiyasu is the ongoing issue. He's got this recurring problem. And Arteta will only say that he's a doubt from week to week, but he keeps missing out. I don't think he's been included in the Japan squad. And I don't think he's even trained fully yet. So I think he'll miss out again. Apart from that, Smith Rowe's back. Arteta said he had a few issues before Wednesday. COVID, I think he had. But he's been back. And I think that's it. So it's just a case of now whether he looks at fatigue-led changes with the quick turnaround. I think it's been, 63 hours or something like that between the Liverpool and Villa games. But he has kept an extremely settled side ever since sort of game week 15-ish. Most of the players have started every game that they've been available for during that time. Cedric's like one of the exemptions. It's just whether he thinks that he can bring in like a Smith Rowe or a Pepe to freshen things up.
Yeah.
But he did kind of signal that he was looking ahead to this game when the game was gone on Wednesday. He brought off Lacazette, he brought off Saka, and he brought off Odegaard, perhaps with saving their legs in mind for the Villa game. Martinelli stayed out there, but he was exceptional, so you would think he starts again.
Yep, very nice. Okay, over to Leicester then. Leicester played last night. They're through in the Europa League Conference. Is that what it's called? Europa League Conference?
Are you up a Conference League? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Well,
I
Rogers
suppose.
didn't even know when he fell
No, I
into the
know.
competition. He didn't know what it was. We're not alone.
They played last night. Fofana was back in the lineup, I
Yeah.
noticed, and Justin played as well. My best mate, Amarte, he kept his place. What's going on
He did.
with Leicester? Because there's players coming back. There's a few new injuries knocking around. We'll see. What's the latest?
Well, there was a press conference listed for Rogers today, but it's not actually a proper conference call or presser. It's a one-on-one interview with, I think, PLP, Premier League Productions, and we've not seen anything from that. So what we get through is the list of times and nothing else. So it could be that it's just not going to be embargoed until Saturday. We won't get anything new. Thankfully, Rogers did speak to the media last night after the Rennes game, the Conference League match, in which they progressed, and there was a couple of more than a couple of new issues to report. Albrighton went off with a groin issue. Ndidi has a knee problem now after a blocked challenge. They were without Soyuncu and Patson Daka as well through illness, non-COVID related, apparently. And Boubakary Soumare as well was out with an injury. So that's on top of pre-existing ones. These are 5 fresh doubts. So Vardy's still out. He's going to be, I think, well after the other side of the break. Evans is still out. Castagne's still out as well. Danny Ward, the backup goalkeeper, is out as well as Bertrand. So they've got a lot of players flagged, which is in a way good if you're putting on an S asset because that slightly diminishes the rotation risk, doesn't eliminate it altogether. Because there are still people who can come in like Ricardo Pereira and Madison, who were both benched last night. But for example, Albrighton being out or certainly having a groin issue, you think that wouldn't be risked. Lessens the competition out wide, where the likes of Barnes and Lookman are competing for places. So we might not get anything more from Rodgers, which is a bit annoying because if we knew, for example, that Daka was out again with illness, then Iheanacho's suddenly more of an attractive punt for Gameweek 30 and for free hitters. But we'll keep our eyes peeled for the next 3 hours in case any of that one-on-one interview comes out. I suspect we wouldn't get much more anyway because he wouldn't have had time to reassess his players that much in between it's been less than 24 hours. But that's what we know so far.
Okay, good. Amarte had another good game last night.
Yeah, he did.
Accounts with Fofana, so I'm fairly confident he's gonna keep his place. Thomas was poor. I think I was reading the player ratings. Thomas had a
I saw that as well. I often look at that when I'm sort of looking at my team predictions, and he's sort of tanked a bit. So he's possibly at risk.
Okay, and Brentford, nothing to report really.
No, all good. No fresh concerns for Thomas Frank. I don't think he had any existing ones, so I think it's just Josh De Silva who's out suspended, and everyone else is fine.
Easy. Okay, last game of the weekend then. Nice, easy one this. Spurs against West Ham. Let's go to Conte first. Anything significant here?
Not really. So it's just confirmation that Sessegnon, Skip, and Tanganga are out. Tanganga's out for the season now. I suppose there was an interesting line on Sessegnon in that Conte said that he's going to be another 4 weeks before he's scanned again. And at that point, he can possibly return to training if all is well. So that's another, I don't know how many game weeks that is, maybe another 2 or 3. But that would firm up Reguilón's place for now, you'd think. I know Doherty has played there, and I know Davies is an option. But that's good news for Reguilón owners if you're keeping him beyond game week 30, because Sessegnon doesn't like he's going to be back for 31.
Yep, that's good. And the final one is then West Ham, who have had their share of injury problems, but got a couple back, I believe, last night in the Europa League.
They did, yeah. Antonio and Cresswell, who both came off in game week 29, they made swift recoveries and lasted almost the entire 120 minutes. I think Cresswell did. I think Antonio might have come off late in the game. But unfortunately, Moyes, almost as if he did it deliberately when holding his press conference this morning, said he hadn't had enough time to assess his team. It's too early to be making any judgment calls on team use. So there was a report of a few limping West Ham players, Declan Rice being one of them. Moyes kind of downplayed it a bit. He says there's more than one who are limping, and but that's something you'd expect out of a tough game. You're going to get knocks and bruises of a 2-hour encounter in Europe. So he didn't seem unduly bothered, but he's got something of a poker face, as we've learned in the past, where he's not disclosed the full picture. So be prepared for maybe 1 or 2 omissions on Sunday. And we do know that 3 players missed last night: Kufal, Ogbonna, and most significantly, Jared Bowen. No fresh update on him today, but Moyes said, I think on Wednesday, that he would probably be out until the international break at the earliest. So I think his flag's gone to 25% as a result of that. It's not a definitely out. But it was interesting that he said after the international break at the earliest, because that suggests Gameweek 31's maybe in doubt as well, not just this weekend. So it's a strange injury because the scan didn't pick up anything on his heel, but he wasn't being able to put any weight on it. So it's an odd injury without any sort of real prognosis so far.
Okay, interesting. Keep an eye on that one. And before we finish, anything of note from the FA Cup sort of pressers?
Yeah, I think the 2 headline updates were from Klopp and Tuchel. So there wasn't really much from Southampton Palace, nothing from City, and little of note from Lampard, other than Pickford still ill, missed out last night, of course. So as for Klopp, Alexander-Arnold's out with a hamstring problem. Now he's going to miss tomorrow definitely, and he's out for weeks, according to Klopp. Nothing beyond that. I have seen, I think, with Paul Joyce in the Times, who's reported a good source of Liverpool information. He's suggesting that he's targeting the Man City game in 32 as his comeback date. So that means he's obviously a doubt for 31, and obviously weeks could mean anything from Klopp. It's 2 weeks until that Watford game where we would love him to be available, but that sounds a little bit in doubt at present. Salah was a bit of an afterthought, really. He's also got recurrence of whatever forced him off last weekend, a foot problem where he overextended. It doesn't sound as serious. Klopp said he just felt something again after that Arsenal match, so I suspect they won't risk him in the cup tie. But that's something to monitor. I mean, at the moment, I think he's being called up for Egypt duty, so we'll know pretty soon. If he goes away to that, then he's going to be all right for Gameweek 31. But Alexander-Arnold's definitely out of the England squad, so we know that is more serious.
Trent and Salah injured. That's not the best timing for Liverpool.
Well, exactly, yeah, and that's there's more to come as well from Chelsea, because Reece James is not quite there yet. He's been back in training this week, and but not in full team training. So his boss said the day that they're uncertain for tomorrow. It's a very tight race, and maybe it's a bit too close. He's also talking about Hudson-Odoi and Andreas Christensen. So he might not even head over to England for international duty. So that's obviously a flag would remain on him if that is the case for Gameweek 31. I suspect he probably will be back by the time we come round to April. But I thought I'd report it anyway because it was one of the lines of note from the FA Cup presses.
Is it April, the next game week?
It is, yeah. April the 2nd.
How are we entering into April? Where's this? What is going on? Crazy.
It's I know, and it's there's more sort of fixture chaos after the national break, because there's a double immediately, isn't there, in 31, Burnley Everton. There's another one in 33. So there's no let up.
Nope.
It's full on at the moment.
Yep. Got to keep checking out these team news to get all the information. There you go. That's awesome. We're done. Nice and early, 20 minutes. Thanks, everyone. If you're watching live on YouTube, don't forget to like the stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if listening on the podcast version, hello to you too as well. But until April, Neale, it's goodbye from me, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
Toodaloo. Yep. See you everybody then.